Welcome to the final part of Metroid Fusion. I am Sire Goku. And in this video, like I said, we're finishing the game. We've done basically everything we can possibly do. So all we have to do now is report to Adam to figure out what the last mission is. Well, if I was actually trying to go for a 100% run, this would also be the point where we do last minute collectathons, because now that you have the screw attack, you can... Once you get the screw attack and the power bombs, you can get everything. And I'm missing a ton of missile expansions, as well as, I believe, 19 energy tanks. Yeah, I was not trying to go for a 100% run, as I stated before, and this playthrough shows it, because I've gotten twice as many energy tanks several times before. But I love the screw attack, because it basically destroys everything. At this point, since I'm backtracking a little bit, not really backtracking, going through spots where I couldn't originally go before, now that I have the screw attack, I may as well just run into everything just to check and make sure you can get through things. Again, even though we have the Varia suit and the gravity suit, acid still hurts us. So you have to take a little bit of damage to open that door, but oh well. I don't think I explained how the space jump works, but for those of you that have played Super Metroid before, it works exactly the same as Super Metroid. You jump. If you do a running jump or just a regular jump and just keep tapping the jump button, you'll essentially just fly everywhere. And finally getting into this room, we can get this missile expansion, which I could have gotten a long time ago. I just never went around. I just never came back to pick it up until now. Also, if you're trying to do a speed run, probably just want to run to the end of the game right now and just beat it. But since I'm trying to show off as much of this game as possible, I figured I would show off the rest of the BSL station as I'm heading towards the end. I could make this playthrough like 5 or 6 more parts just from exploring alone. Well, maybe not 5, but I could probably make this at least 4 more parts long if I wanted to, just by exploring the rest of this BSL station and going back to all the other sectors and double checking on stuff that I missed, but I don't want to make this playthrough any longer than it needs to be. And yes, I'm still dropping random power bombs everywhere just to make sure I'm not missing some secret entrance somewhere or whatnot. Also, I apologize for the amount of times that I mentioned, Federation Force in this playthrough. I was just saying that because I didn't have anything else to talk about, and I just wanted to try and keep on the topic of Metroid. I apologize if it got repetitive. That wasn't my intention, and that's the end of that. As for this game, since it's going to be a while until I actually go to the final dungeon, to the final boss, this is probably, well, not even probably, this is by far my favorite Metroid of the franchise entirely. It takes everything that made Super Metroid great and just, in my opinion, made it better. Again, I've mentioned before, a lot of people were kind of iffy on the fact that the game is extremely linear. The most linear Metroid game. Well, theoretically the most linear, not including Other M, which basically was just go from point A to point B. I can make the argument that every Metroid game is linear. You do have to go to each sector in a specific... It's not a specific order. It is kind of like Mega Man, where you can go to any kind of sector out of order. But there are certain points where you can't get to some places. Case in point, like Super Metroid, you can't really go very far into Norfair before you get the Varia suit. And if you want to spend like 7 hours in Meridia without the gravity suit, go ahead and go to the sunken ship in Meridia without the gravity suit. See how long it takes you to drive yourself insane without being able to walk normally underwater. My point is, I think all Metroid games, while they do have an emphasis on exploration, it's still pretty much linear experience. The most non-linear game I can think of is probably the Prime games, and even those games are structured to be somewhat linear in a way. Sure, you can do like sequence breaking, but sequence breaking still doesn't change the fact that you're just going out of the intended order. Every Metroid game has an intended order for you to go through, so yeah. And I'm just going on a tangent here. Long story short, I don't think linearity should be a factor in what makes a game fun. I like this game a lot. I think that the linearity makes it more accessible to people because you don't need to worry about getting lost. But that's just me. You're free to disagree with my opinion. It's just an opinion. Hopefully my past self gets to the end soon because I'm worrying that I'm going to run out of things to say. Well, I guess I can say as a Metroid. Well, I'm not a huge Metroid fan. I like the series a lot. I mean, it's a fun series, but I'm not usually one for huge exploration. Oh, wait, plot. Never mind, hold on. Samus, we're done here. Leave the rest to the Federation. We should be preparing to evacuate the station. Are you joking? Do you know how dangerous the X are? Do they know how quickly they reproduce? The Federation has taken an interest in the X and SA-X. They believe this life form has endless potential of applications. This is ridiculous. The X are heartless abominations. What potential could they possibly have? That's a very good question. It's not necessary that you understand such matters. The Federation is coming now. You should just leave quietly. This is madness. They won't stand a chance here. The station will devour them. What could be worth the risk? Capturing the SA-X, of course. Are you serious? Do they really think they can succeed? It would certainly be difficult. They don't expect your help. They knew you would try to destroy the SA-X. That's why they stopped sending you support data. The plasma beam modification was ready some time ago, but they withheld it to keep you from engaging the SA-X. Yet somehow you restored that function on your own. They also tried to withhold the diffusion missile upgrade, because they didn't want you to grow too powerful. But they had already sent it, and you tracked it down. Bravo, Samus. They must cancel this mission. Open a channel to HQ. I won't let this happen. They're already on their way. Fools. Well, shit. As soon as the Federation ships land, the X will overwhelm them and absorb the knowledge and power of their occupants. The X are just waiting for the hunt to begin, and they'll spread across the universe. Galactic civilization will end. The X hunger for form, knowledge, and power. They mimic these perfectly, but they cannot copy the soul. They're single-minded, instinctively seeking to increase in number. They're a plague, and the Federation underestimates their strength. The X must not leave here. I must destroy them all before the Federation arrives. The station has a self-destruct mechanism. I must use it to destroy the X here and on the planet. I must send them to oblivion. Them, the station, and myself if I have to. So holy shit, Samus actually has an excuse for blowing stuff up this time. She is gonna blow the place up, but she has a good reason for it. I have been ordered to confine you until the ships arrive. Don't let them do this. Can't you see what'll happen? Can't you see what'll happen, Adam? Adam? Who is Adam? A friend of mine? And what would this friend advise you to do? He would know that the The only way to end this is to not have my computer go into sleep mode, that's for sure. Operate the self-destruct cycle. He'd know how important it is. Did this Adam care for you? Would he sit in a safe command and order you to die? He would understand that some must live and some must die. He knew what it meant. He made that sacrifice. Made that sacrifice once. Yes, I'm not reading this properly. So he chose life for you, our fair warrior Samus. Our fair warrior Samus Aran. Your Adam gave his life so that you could live. You may keep yours. No, I'm not reading this properly. I apologize. For the sake of the universe. How foolish. How dare you? How could you hope to understand, machine? You know that detonating the station in high orbit would not guarantee the complete extinction of the X. Even though the station would be utterly destroyed. Yes. You would only succeed in removing the one obstacle to the galaxy's ruin. Yourself. You would ignore this simple fact and choose death. When Adam decided who would live, he chose incorrectly. Oh, burn! If you were to alter the station's orbit, then you might be able to include the planet in the vaporization yield of the self-destruct detonation. Oh, sweet! We get to blow up a station and a planet. Ha! You'd have to start the propulsion system. You'd have to start the propulsion sequence now, before the Federation arrives. Samus, this is your last mission. Go to the operations room and adjust the station's orbit path to intercept SR-388. Then return to your ship and escape. Move quickly and stay alive. That's an order. Any objections, lady? So apparently, despite the fact that this Adam is a machine, it still remembers itself as being the original Adam. And I guess Samus reminded it of that, so it's like, oh, no, I wasn't going to allow you to blow up the station, but I changed my mind. Go ahead and blow up the station. I mean, we're Samus Aran. But before I go and decide to blow up the station, I was going to do a little bit more backtracking. I was thinking of doing some more backtracking, but instead I decided... Well, I was thinking I could do more backtracking, but this is to show off. Once you decide to do the final mission, you can't go back. You can't go back to any of the other sectors. So if you want to do some backtracking, and get all the extra items that you missed, be sure not to talk to Adam and start the final mission, because once you start the final mission, all of the sectors are locked off. So, yeah. If you're worried that you're not prepared for this, then don't talk to Adam when you're done with all the other sectors, I guess. I think this is me not realizing that. I was thinking that maybe I could go back to the other sectors and that just that particular one was closed off. But no, all the sectors are closed off once you go to that, once you do that scene. So, so yeah. I can't stress enough that if you want to go back and get items that you missed or that you couldn't get before you got the screw attack, don't talk to Adam and start the final mission, because if you do that, you can't get those anymore. Doing this also, I regret doing this because this probably made me get a slightly worse ending than I normally would if I had just gone straight to the final boss, but screw it, I wasn't trying to do a speed run of this or anything, this is just a casual playthrough. And I figured it would be best to just show that little detail off, because I don't think a lot of people show that off. They don't really indicate that that all the sectors get locked out after you decide to start the final mission. So, now you know. Now anything in this section, you can still backtrack and get any items that you missed in here. Which I kind of recommend you do, because going and actually fighting the SAX is a lot hard. Well, it's not super hard, but it is the final boss, so don't expect it to be a pushover. That's basically all I'm gonna say. Just don't expect to... I mean, it's not hard, but it's not easy either, so... So just go in, so make sure you're prepared. Have as many missiles that you can, and try to conserve as much energy as you can if you're gonna go and fight anything. Here I get to show off this room because I never got around to coming back up here. Most of the last bit of items that you collect in this game are power bombs, so... And really, power bombs are only useful in at least in my opinion, from what I've played of this particular run, I've noticed that power bombs are basically only useful for getting more power bombs. I don't know why that is, but that's just the way it is. So you use a power bomb in order to find a power bomb upgrade. But at this point... Yeah, at this point I just realized, yeah, there's no other places left for me to go. Mainly because the game locks me out of that, so... We just have to go and start the self-destruct sequence. But I seem to be being stupid and not going up. There we go. Past me, you need to be better at pressing the A button. So yeah, this is the final part. And I know I probably could have done this a lot better. And my commentary of constantly mentioning things over and over again was not smart of me, I realize that, but I'm not always the best at commentating. So, that's my excuse. But when you come in here, as soon as you go to that room, as soon as you go to the upper door that leads to the station self-destruct mechanism, the SAX shows up to try and stop you. And in all fairness, the SAX is kind of a pushover. You can easily get it into a... It easily gets into a blocked, noticeably easy to avoid pattern. Every time you charge shot it, it's going to try and space jump into you. So just shoot it with a charge beam when it lands, and it'll just constantly keep running into you. Or jumping. If it gets close enough to you and hits you with its screw attack, then it's going to basically spam the screw attack on you, and you're going to take a lot of hits like I'm doing right here. It does hurt a lot, so if you have very little energy tanks, it'll probably It can kill you, because it does a lot of damage. You can also, if you time your shot well enough, you can take out this form of SAX in one shot. I've seen it done before. It's not easy to time it. You have to have precise aiming, but you can. And once you take it out, then like any other boss in this game, then you have to deal with the X core. So and because it has floating platforms up there, you can break this. You can break this core like any other core by having it clip into the. You can make it clip into the platforms up there and then just aim down and shoot at it a bunch of times. Again, I have to thank Some Call Me Johnny for that tip, because I didn't realize that once you beat it, you should be able to absorb the X-Parasite core, but it decides to run away. When you try and get it, it's like, well, shoot, how am I supposed to, get that X-Parasite core if it runs away from me? Oh well, it's not important. Now we can finally do what Adam told us to do, which is go to the operations room and set this place to explode.
Propulsion sequence activated.
And now we have 3 minutes to get back to our ship. And just like every other Metroid game, it ends with an escape sequence of self-destruct. It wouldn't be a Metroid game without a self-destruct sequence. And we got this awesome Ridley remix theme. I know it's not technically Ridley's theme. Well, it's become Ridley's theme now, but originally it was just boss theme number 2 from Super Metroid, and everyone just established it with Ridley's theme and the escape sequence. But you have 3 minutes to get back to your ship, which is more than enough time. You can go back into a recharge room, but that would literally waste time, and I'm being stupid and going the wrong way. But honestly, you have more than enough time. If it takes you less than a minute and a half to, well, no, it might take you a minute and a half or so to get to the end, but it doesn't take that long to get back to your ship. And I don't really have much else to say about this. It's just basically run back to your ship. It tries to be a little bit difficult by having there being blown up sections, but hey. And we get back to where our ship's supposed to be. Where's our ship? Oh god, and that's an Omega Metroid. And oh, yeah.
2 minutes to destination.
Well, that's the end of Metroid Fusion. We're all gonna die. And oh, wait, it's back. Alright, the SAX had the ice beam. And it's dead. I guess this was trying to imitate the ending of Super Metroid. It does a decent job. Now, the Omega Metroid is pretty easy. You just have to stand next to it and keep shooting. If it swipes its claw at you, you're going to get stunned for a few seconds. So all you got to do is just rapidly tap on the control pad and you'll get back up. And if you just keep aiming diagonally and shooting at it, it'll go down in like 10 seconds. It's very easy. I have had times where I've gotten here with only like 10 seconds left. Like when I beat the Omega Metroid, I only had like 20 seconds left. And I'm like, oh, am I gonna die? No, it only takes like 4 seconds for your ship to get there. But say goodbye to SR388 because it is officially gone. That perfect military mind, the wisdom of Adam Malkovich, continued to serve even after death. Until today, I had no idea that the minds of leaders and scientists were frequently uploaded to computers. My incredible reunion with Adam may have saved the universe. And I think I made this run stay a little bit too long. Sorry about that. But how will the beings of the universe view our resolve? I doubt they'll understand what we did. The danger we barely averted. They will hold tribunals and investigations. They will hold us responsible. Adam understood this, and he spoke to me in anger. Do not worry. One of them will understand. One of them must. I reflected upon his words, and I see the wisdom in them. We are all bound by our experiences. They are the limits of our consciousness. But in the end, the human soul will ever reach for the truth. This is what Adam taught me. Just one detail still bothers me. This ship can only be started manually. Yet before I faced the Omega Metroid, the ship moved on its own, guided by someone's hand. Is it possible? Adam? Lady, what's troubling you? You wonder how I started the ship. Just think about it. Now I'm also kind of wondering how the planet's explosion almost reached a third planet. They lent me a hand. So apparently, those animals from Super Metroid, are smart enough to pilot the ship. I don't know how. But that's Super Metroid. Well, not Super Metroid, that's Metroid Fusion, everybody. I love this game so much. This is by far my favorite Metroid in the entire series. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I understand that a lot of people think that comparatively to Super Metroid, this game is too linear and super easy. I don't see a problem with it being linear and relatively easy. It's a handheld game. It's not meant to be an epic 40-hour game. I mean, it's meant to be speedy. This is probably a speedrunner's dream. You can beat this game in less than an hour. Granted, people can beat Super Metroid in less than an hour as well, but still. I mean, this game did a lot of things that I think were really perfectly implemented for the game. Such as, Samus's ability to actually, hold onto ledges and pull herself up. Being able to just basically show you the basic direction of where you need to go without forcing you to go there was nice. That way you knew exactly what you had to do, but nothing was intentionally throwing you down that path. You can be like, yeah, you need to go to Sector 3 now, but I can stay in Sector 2 and look for stuff that I didn't find the first time through. It's nice. This was even implemented in Metroid Prime, which came out a few months after this, where, yes, the game's going to constantly say, hey, go here, remember this is the main section that you have to go to, but you're free to explore at your leisure. I personally just couldn't get the hang of reading a 3D map, because the way the map is in that game is kind of bleh. It's not bad, it's just difficult to read sometimes. Maybe I'm just bad at reading maps. But just like every other Metroid game, depending on how fast you beat it, you get to see Samus remove some of her armor, depending on how well you did. And I did well enough that she at least takes off her helmet, so I'm happy about that. My clear time is 3.5 hours. Definitely could have been a lot faster, considering my rate of collecting items was barely under 50%. But that's the fastest time I've ever actually completed Metroid Fusion, and I'm proud of that. So this has been Sire Goku. Thank you for watching my Let's Play, and I will see you guys with my next one real soon. See you guys later.